Hey guys, it's Scott here and welcome to my Premier League Roundup video. Hopefully you do enjoy this. If you do, hit the like button down below and subscribe if you haven't already and want to see daily content, mainly live streams. So, if you don't know what this series is, it runs parallel to my Premier League predictions videos that go up on Friday. Basically what we try and do in those is we look at every game that's happening in the league over the weekend and we try to predict the results, and then we round them up in these videos and see how well we did, and we compare them to your guys' scores and see how well you did compared to me. So the way that it works is if you get the score right, you get 3 points. If you get the result right, you get 1 point. If you get it completely wrong, you get 0. I do terrible every single week, but let's see how well we've done this week. So, we start off with Palace versus West Brom. In this one, I went with a 2-1 Palace victory because I thought that they just got that a bit more quality than West Brom. But I did think, you know what, maybe Barahino or someone like that may snatch a goal, but they didn't. Palace managed to win 2-0, not a bad victory for them. Another win under Pardew, so that's decent for them. Then we move on to Villa versus Stoke. I went with a 1-1 draw in this because Villa looking okay with people like Gested getting on the goals now, but Stoke also being Stoke, are pretty solid at the back, don't concede a ton of goals, so I went with 1-1 in this one. But Stoke actually were better than I thought, and they managed to win this one 1-0. Arnautovic with the goal, shocking defending, but a decent win for those, as they were not doing very good. They were, I think, 17th or 18th going into this weekend of fixtures, so a vital win for them at this stage in the season to get those early points on the board. Then we move on to Bournemouth versus Watford. Bournemouth, obviously without Callum Wilson now, not looking as powerful going forward as they could have done. So in my prediction I went for a Watford win. Igalo smashing it for them. Deeney eventually, surely he's going to start scoring, but Igalo is the main man and he scored again in this fixture, but Bournemouth did manage to salvage a point out of it, so not too bad for them. Getting those points on the board right now is very, very big for them, especially with a striker as good as Callum Wilson out for what could be 6 months or more. Then we move on to City versus Newcastle. Man City versus Newcastle. I went with a 4-0 victory here, which some people said was silly, because when a team like City get that far up against a team like Newcastle, they'll just sit back after like 2 or 3 goals and they won't go for any more. That wasn't true, was it? Because they managed to win 6-1. It was 1-1 at half time. I was away at the football, so I wasn't active in looking at all the scores and watching TV and seeing the goals as they went in. So we went from hearing it being 1-1 at half time to hearing it being 6-1 like 15-20 minutes later, and hearing that Aguero managed to score 5. The guy is unreal. So absolute, just an insane performance by him means that they smash Newcastle. Mitrovic finally getting a goal at least. I mean, that's the silver lining, right? I don't know, but City just look unbelievable this season. Then we move on to Norwich Leicester. Obviously, I'm the Leicester fan. I went to the game, which was pretty cool. My first proper away day in the league, and that was a tense game to say the least. I went with a 3-2 victory. I thought we'd just edge it, but because we score goals in our games, like whoever we seem to play against, we score goals this season, but we can't defend, hence the 3-2 scoreline I predicted. I was sort of right. We won 2-1, which was good. Like I said, very tense. Our goals, okay, not too bad. Their goal, nice piece of play, but there could easily have been a lot more in that game if it wasn't thanks to the woodwork and also poor finishing from both teams. But good game. Then we move on to Sunderland West Ham. One of the shocks of the weekend, this one. I, like many people, thought West Ham would probably walk this good. Higher in great form for West Ham. You got to think that they're going to win. Were 2-0 up. West Ham managed to have confidence in your team when they goal lead, unfortunately, but I would take the Payet goal on fantasy football, but it is a bit of a surprise. I mean, Sunderland getting another point closer to safety. They've now lost their manager. What is going on there? Who are they going to bring in? Anyone have any ideas? Leave them in the comment section down below. Then we move on to Chelsea versus Southampton. Once again, another well, if you look at the table, it's not an upset, but in terms of last season and the teams involved, it was an upset. I went with 2-0 Chelsea here. Thought that, you know what, they're playing bad. They need to turn it around. And I don't know what is going on there. They lost 3-1 to Southampton if you missed the game. Pella, Mane, all over it. And Chelsea just not looking good this season. Is Mourinho going to stay for the whole time? What do you guys think? Or is he just going to get the boot? Because Abramovich doesn't like sticking with managers that aren't doing that well. If this was anyone else other than Mourinho, they probably would have been gone by this point. So it's interesting to say the least. I don't have a clue what has happened to Chelsea. They just don't look anywhere near the team that they've been. So what do they need to do to change? Who knows? They have some of the best players in the league, and yet they can't beat teams. I don't understand it. But we'll move on from that. We go to the Merseyside derby, the first of the Super Sunday games this weekend. And I went with a 1-1 draw. I went with a 2-2 draw, actually, in this one. I thought that there would be goals, but I couldn't call a winner. And I was sort of right. It ended up as 1-1. Who got the Liverpool goal? Danny Ings, completely unmarked in the box. Header from a corner. Don't know what Everton were doing. Zonal marking just doesn't work. And then Lukaku getting lucky with a bounce that fell to him. Good finish by him. But I got the draw right. Both teams had chances to do more and take the win, but it just wasn't the greatest game to watch. Whereas this next one, Arsenal versus Manchester United, I predicted 2-2 in this game. Yeah, I was a little bit wrong. Arsenal won 3-0. They were 3-0 up after, what was it, like 20, 25 minutes. Sanchez all over it. Ozil all over it as well. They just ran riot in this game. They could easily have had a lot more. Second half, Man U made some substitutions. Took off like Depay for Fellaini. There were some weird ones. Then they took off Mata later on. I don't know what Van Gaal was thinking really. But Arsenal just could, like I said, have got way more than 3 goals. Played really, really well in this team and looking like a very, very scary team to come up against. They obviously beat us 5-2 this last week. Man U 3-0 this week. Scary times for whoever they're playing in the next few weeks. Then we move on to the final game of this weekend, which was Swansea versus Tottenham. And in this one, I predicted a Spurs win. I thought, you know what, Kane and Eriksen, maybe even like players like Chadley, Lamella, going to link together and get the form back that they had last season and the chemistry. That wasn't the case. It was a 2-2 draw. Swansea looking decent, but they did rely on a Kane own goal to get their point as he sliced it in terribly from a corner. But Eriksen actually saving the day for Spurs, scoring 2 nice free kicks for them from basically the same position. The guy is just their best player by a long way. He's ridiculous. Him and Lloris, too good for Spurs, really. They could easily walk into other top teams. But that is that result. I got that one wrong. I only got 4 points out of a possible 30 this week. I just suck at this. How well did you guys do? Leave it in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys tomorrow for a new series, new returning series on FIFA 16. My Road to Division 1 is back. So hopefully you're there for that. I'll see you guys then. Thank you very much for watching. Good night and goodbye.